Tonight represents an important moment when we close the chapter on 2016. We remember, celebrate and reflect on the year that's just gone. And whilst our season comprised 22 games over the course of winter, we all know it involved countless more hours on and off the field, going right back to last season's pre-Christmas pre-season. In fact, in that time, December last year, I took a walk with our players and coaches on the final day of their pre-season training camp in Queenstown. Well, a walk is how the locals might describe a 6-hour, 17-kilometre ascent of the vertical Arrowtown peaks, but for some of us mere mortals it was a bit more than that, and we probably got more of an insight into the life of a mountain goat than I ever quite fancied. But we got through it, and I'll say there were many players in front of me. There were a few behind, but I'm not going to mention any names. But certainly that amount of walking provides a chance for us to think and reflect. At the time, I remember pondering just how many of our coaches and players might have been thinking about the synergies between the physical challenge that they were undertaking and perhaps the metaphorical journey that our club was also embarking upon to climb up the AFL mountain, starting from the bottom. After 3 hours of climbing, the group paused at the top of a peak and gathered and actually sang the club song at the peak in a really, I guess, rousing rendition of "Oh When the Saints," as you'll probably ever hear a few thousand feet above sea level. We then reconvened, put the packs back on, turned around a corner and realised, in fact, we hadn't yet reached the top and there was still another climb ahead of us. And I guess in itself providing an insight into and a great reminder of the fallibilities of the goals that we sometimes set, but also the extra yards which are often required as we ultimately strive for the right horizon. Now clearly we remain some way from reaching the top of the AFL mountain, and we know that now is certainly not the time to stop and enjoy the view. But we have made good progress on our climb. And what's really pleasing is that we can now see what is on the horizon. We can see what the view looks like. What's also encouraging is that other people now have a better view of us. They can see that there is clarity about who we are, what we stand for, and where we're going. Richo has already shared some insights regarding the footy side of things earlier this evening, so I want to focus on some of our off-field growth and improvement. But before I do, and speaking of Richo, I think that one of the best things that we've done this year has been to re-sign our senior coach until at least the end of 2018. I think you'd all agree it's a smart decision and great reward for a job well done. Making smart decisions has been a bit of a theme for our organisation over the past 12 months as we focused on earning respect and credibility in everything that we do. Since I last stood here this time last year, we've had a range of positive steps forward. As we heard earlier, we had our Future Fest with 20 young players recommitting to the club. We welcomed 7 new people, but not just new players, great quality people to our organisation, many of whom have demonstrated and given a glimpse for our future in the way in which they've debuted this season. As was mentioned earlier, we welcome back favourite son Danny Frawley as a coach in our team, and we've also welcomed a host of new partners, and I'll touch on them in a moment. We launched our new brand and the How I Want to Be spirit, which is being shared in everything that we do across our organisation. We've done a power of work in refining our community program, and I look forward in a couple of months' time to launching a fantastic new initiative in that space. We've built out a new look executive team, and most importantly, I think, we've opened the doors of this great club for our supporters and welcomed them in. At the start of the year, the board and our executive team identified a series of priorities for the year and some key themes which would characterise the way we go about our business. Firstly, we were intent on halting the decline and starting to put in place the building blocks for future growth. This, of course, has been delivered on the field with more wins, more quarters won, and an intensity of effort and pressure which drives competitiveness. Off the field, new corporate partners have come on board in Dare Ice Coffee, Seek, Ladbrokes, Susan Day Cakes, AMC, 321 Connect, great organisations with faith in our direction. We're absolutely delighted that sales of Dare Ice Coffee are up nearly 20% year on year and that we could play a role in that growth. But whilst we welcome new partners, it's critical to our business growth, we remain tremendously gracious for the support of long-term partners, such as Jayco, Linen House, to Jerry, Val, Michelle, who are here tonight. And we're absolutely committed to helping those great companies to continue to drive their businesses further. In 2015, we also increased membership and average crowds for the first time since 2010. And we led all Melbourne clubs in achieving a retention rate north of 90% for the first time. These gains will enable us to record a significant improvement in our financial result from 2014, which is absolutely critical to investing the resources which are required to achieve our lofty ambitions. At the start of the year, we were also determined to reconnect with our supporters. And in 2015, we've sought to do this in fresh and surprising ways, and we've been delighted by the response from our fans. From our improved matchday experience, complete with our How I Want to Be crew of volunteers, to the random acts of engagement, delivering Susan Day cakes and Dare Ice coffee everywhere we go, to the public jumper presentations, the leadership group announcement, open training sessions and much more. We're absolutely intent on putting our customers first at the forefront of everything that we do. We've opened up the club to better tell our story, and I don't think that any of us have seen that better done than through our digital challenge. To some of us who are digital dinosaurs, we've engaged. Richo's still got me covered on Twitter, but hopefully you can all get behind me and help me to try and close some of that gap. But we've absolutely been intent on generating and capturing the enthusiasm and excitement of our young group. It's no good bringing so many young players into your team if you're not going to capture some of the enthusiasm and excitement which comes from such a contagious atmosphere that they bring. And I think we've seen that, and it continues to exist through our social media, but also the thank you campaign that we're running over the last month. Many of our supporters have told us this year that because of this improved engagement, they've never felt more connected to our club. What I want to promise is that this new is now the new normal. We will always be a club that welcomes our supporters in, and we will share our story with the people who love this club. And lastly, I want to touch on another item that I mentioned this time last year. It was high on our priority list then and remains so now, and that was to finally resolve the issue of where we call home. Now, we're still not 100% there, but things are tracking very much in the right direction, and that we're very confident that we will return to Moorabbin in a new elite training community facility in 2017. But critically, this will be a key community facility for local boys and girls footy, for the home of footy's talent pathway in Melbourne South. Our home will be part of, not separate to, the community which supports us. So while Seaford has provided us with great training facilities and an opportunity to engage with that area of Melbourne which we will continue to harness, developing Moorabbin in a manner which befits the role that that place plays in the heritage of our club will provide a significant boost for us and as a unifying project that we can all be part of. I'd like to wrap up by thanking the board, all players and staff, our corporate and community partners, supporter groups, and of course our members and fans. Footy clubs at their heart are about people and communities, and 2015 has been a difficult year for many individuals and families closely associated with our club. It's in the tough times that the ties that bind are most important. And this year I'm proud that our club has been there for Saints people in their times of need. I believe we're on the right path, and I want to thank you for your hard work, your support and commitment. It's been a big year, a good year, but we do need to do more to to be better in 2016. As Richo said, we need to embrace the higher expectations that come with our improvement. We also need to have the courage to stick to our plans and take our club up the mountain to where it should be, to make our people proud. Thank you.